this video, we will build a simple microservices example using Go. The focus of this video will be the backend, so the React app that will consume these microservices will be pre-built, and I will provide the link in the description of this video. This tutorial is also part of a video series where in each tutorial you will learn something new about microservices. In this example, we will learn how to send internal HTTP requests from one microservice to another one. So let's see it by building the app. So let's start by creating the frontend. It is pre-built since the focus of this project is on the backend. So I'll copy the URL here and open the terminal and run git clone this project. Now that I clone the project, make sure to have npm installed, and we will go to the post microservices frontend, run npm install, and after it's installed, run npm start, and the frontend is built. So node modules are installed. Now run npm start, and this will create the project on port 3000. So it failed because we haven't built the backend and these endpoints are not available. So let's build a backend. I will use the Go Fiber framework. I will copy this code here, and in the terminal I will create two directories. So I will make a directory posts, and I will make another directory comments, and I will open both of them with my IDE. So I opened them, and now we have two empty directories here, and the first thing that I will do is run go mod init. In this project I will call it posts, and we created the module here. So let's do the same for the comments. So go mod init comments. So we added a module, and then I will create a Go file. I will call it main, and here I will paste the code that I copied from the framework here. We need to install the package, so go get the package. I will select again here, and I will create the file here too. Paste it again, and we need to get also go get the fiber framework here. So this is correct now. What is left is we need to connect with the database, so we need to use gorm.io. So this is the command to get gorm. Before we get it, let's connect with our database. So I will open a new data source here. I will select MySQL. I will put my username and password, and the database for the posts microservice is posts_ms. So let's test the connection. This is a weird error in my IDE, and I connected with this empty database now. Let's do the same for the comments. Let's add a new database. So this is comments ms. So each microservice will have their own database. I will set the time zone again here, which this is the error, and this is empty as well. So we added databases for both the projects. Let's add some tables in the database. So let's get gorm. I will copy this command, and I will get gorm here. We need also the driver. This is SQLite, but in my case it is MySQL. So I got this. I will copy it again, so I will use it to the next project here, and MySQL. So the packages are installed. Now let's add the tables for the database. So I will create here type post struct. This will be the table that we will create. It will have an ID as a unsigned integer. It will have a title as a string and a description as a string. So we created this struct, and we have to create the table now. To do it, first we have to connect with our database. So I'll create a variable db here and an error. They're equal to gorm open. Don't forget also to import this package here. My ID automatically adds the imports that are necessary. MySQL here open. So don't forget to add also the driver MySQL here, and the connection string is root. So this is my password. No, this is my username and this is my password. So you should have other credentials. So username password at TCP, and I'm using localhost, so it's 127.0.0.1 and the port is 3306. Slash the database. So the database in this case is posts ms, and we need to add some gorm config variable in the end, and that's it. So this is a connection for the database. If error is not nil, then we need to panic here for the error, and then let's create the table for this struct here. So db auto migrate posts, like this. So if we run this up now, so go run main.go, why it is failing, so go run main.go. I know why it is failing, is because we are listening to port 3000 and our React app has the port 3000, so my bad there. I will change the port to 8000, and also for the comments I will change the port to 8001 here. So these are the ports for the backends. Now let's clear go run main.go, and our app is running. And let's see the database. We can see we have a table posts here with an ID, title and description. So this is working fine. Let's do the same for the other microservice. I'll copy this code and I'll paste it here. So let's import also this, and we will create a new struct here, type comment struct, and the comment will have an ID as an unsigned integer, the post ID as a uint, and the text as a string. So this post ID will correspond to this post ID here, but there will be no foreign key because there are different apps and different databases. So I added a comment here. The connection is the same, but this is comments ms, and when we auto migrate, we will auto migrate the comment, and that should be it. So go run main.go, it is running, and if we check the database, we'll have the comments with ID, post and text. So till now everything is working fine. Now let's add the routes. So the first thing that we will add is course. So use course new, like this. So we need to add this line, otherwise we won't be able to use the frontend, because the frontend uses a port 3000 and the backend uses a port 8000 here. If we don't add cores, Chrome will think that these are not different apps and it won't allow that. If we add cores here, then Chrome will allow that request. And now let's add this first endpoint, which is API/posts. So I'll add here API/posts. And let's get all the posts here. So to get all the posts, we'll create a variable posts as a slice of post. And we will get the database variable here. Let's find all of the posts and return them in the end. So C JSON posts. Is that simple? So with this we get all the posts. So let's run the app again. Let's refresh, and our frontend looks better because we are returning an empty array, but this returns 0. So don't worry about that. Now we have a form here where we have a title, description, and we save. So we need to create another endpoint to create the post. So let's add here app post /API/posts again, but the method will change. So this is get, this is post. I will use the same function here, but this time we will create a post. So I changed this to a single post, and we will get the post information from the request. So we need to send the title and the description, and Fiber has a function body parser which will parse the value from the request. So let's use it. If error, so I will use it like this directly, C body parser, we will parse the values to the post. So that's it. When we send the title and the description from the request, we will parse it and we will put it to the title and description here. We won't have the ID because we don't need it. So this is a function. This returns an error, which we will handle it like this. So if error is not nil, we will return the error. So inside this if statement, we get the post, so we assign the post the title and the description, and if an error happens, we return it. Now we got the post. Instead of find now, we will use create this post, and we will return the post. That's it. So we added the second endpoint. Let's run it again and let's see if it works. So title number 1 and description number 1. Let's type save, and we created it. Not sure why we didn't have the title and the description, and I think I know the reason. The reason is when we get, so I will inspect here. We have the posts here. Let's open a new tab, and this is the response, which we successfully insert the title and the description. But why it's not appearing in the frontend? The reason is the frontend expects the title and the description to be all lowercase, and the title in this case is uppercase. So how do we make it lowercase? We add a configuration here in the end, JSON ID like this. So the JSON of this struct will be all lowercase. If we add this, refresh, they will be all lowercase, and if we refresh here, we have a title and the description. So everything is working fine. Now we have an input here where we can write a comment. So let's work with the comments now. So we will have two endpoints here, but the first one, let's create one comment, API/comments here, and this will be a post request. So here we will create the comment just like we did with the posts. So I will copy this code and I'll paste it here. Just we won't have a post here, we will have a comment, and this value is not a post, it is a comment. So super simple. We create a variable comment, we get it from the body parser, we create the comment and we return it. Let's save it, run it again, and right here comment number 1, insert it. So we have an error, and that error is that I forgot to add course here as well. So that's why we need a course. This is required if you make a single page application. And now that I added course, don't forget also to add this import here. I will restart it again, and I will refresh and add here comment 1. And we successfully created the comment. We are not showing it here because there are some fewer issues which we will solve them now. So we successfully created the comment, but if we refresh the page, we don't get that comment because we return only the posts here. But the way that we want to return them is we want to return the posts with the comments. So this is a post struct, but we want to return comments. So let's add an interface for the moment to add something like this. So how do we do it? So this is the first problem of microservices. We have to get data from one microservice to another microservice, and we can do that via internal HTTP requests. So let's start by adding another endpoint here to return the comments from a post ID. So this will be like this: up get, and the endpoint is API posts, the post ID here, and the comments. So for this post ID, we will get the comments. Let's add the fiber function here. And what do we want to do now? So we will create a variable comments as a slice of comment, and we will return it in the end. So C JSON comments. So in the middle, we want to get the comments based on this ID here, and to do it, we have to use db find all the comments like this. Then we need to add after the comments, we add a comma, and we need to add the condition that the post ID is equal to question mark, and the question mark we will add it here. So this is the value, and let's get it from the params here, and to get it is c.params ID. That's it. So we'll get all the comments where the post ID is equal to this parameter that we pass, and we finished with this microservice. We don't need to change anything here. So we added this endpoint. How do we use it to the other microservice? So let's make some changes for these comments here. So I don't want this to be an interface, but we can add the comment directly here, which I will paste it. And this, instead of an array of interface, this will be just a comment. Let's add some configuration. So this returns a JSON of lowercase comments. That is okay. but I will add here gorm minus. What does this mean then? So if we auto-migrate the posts, gorm will think that this is another column and it will add it to the database. But we don't want to add it to our database. That's why we add this field. So this is just a field here, but don't add it to the database. So that's the message. So I will add also the default value will be an empty array here. So the default value will be null if we don't add this field, but we want an empty slice. So that should be it. We added the comments there. And how do we get the comments here in this endpoint? So we have to loop the posts. So for index and post, which are equal to range posts. So we are looping the posts here. And what do we want to do is for every post, we'll send a GET request to this endpoint here. To send a GET request, we have to import the package HTTP. We will send a GET request. So the package is net HTTP. The endpoint is HTTP localhost 8001/API/posts/the ID, which I add %d here, /comments. For the ID here, I will use fmt sprintf. So I will add this function so I can add that decimal value post ID in the end here. So this will be the endpoint. We'll add the post ID here. We'll send a GET request and this will return a response and an error. If the error is not nil, then we will return the error. And if we get a response, we want to get the comments. So we'll create a variable here, comments, as a slice of comment, since we got this struct here. And this response is response object here. So it has some functionalities. What we want is to decode the response body. So I will add here JSON, new decoder. The value is response.body. And we have to decode it to the comments. And that should be it. So with this, we get the comments now. And we will assign it to this post array. Not this post value, but this post array, because we returned that. So posts with ID of 1, comments are equal to these comments. So that's it. Don't forget also to import JSON, encoding JSON here. And with this change now, we are getting the comments from the other microservice. And let's see if it works. Let's run min.go again and let's refresh it. So we don't have any comments yet. Comment number 1. And we got it. Not sure why it's not returning. So I think I know the reason. The reason should be that I forgot to add here the JSON values for this comment. So I think the problem is this post ID, which we send it post_ID, and it should map it to this value. So if we add this, we refresh this, and also I will add this value here to the comment as well. And let's restart this also. And let's create another comment now. Comment 1, and we successfully created that comment. So it is working fine. Now let's add the title to, description to, save. We created a new post, and this is comment for post 2. We created here and here, so if we refresh, everything is correct. So we returned the comments and the posts in one request, but they are from different microservices. Also, this way that we did it here is not a good practice. Why is not a good practice? Because when we have thousands of posts, we will send an HTTP request every time. So this will be very slow, and there are better ways to retrieve the comments. This will be a video series, so I will create another video where I show you the best way for this problem here. But this is the end of this video for the moment. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.